Hunted and Collected is an event I've been dreaming up for a couple of years now, trying to see whether it was going to be possible. We've got 4 chefs plus myself going out to hunt, gather, forage and fish for all of our produce for up to 80 guests.
As my journey as a chef, I realised how broken our food system is, and you start to become exposed to different ingredients. And as you get a lot of confidence with your cooking, you become familiar with this environment, and you start to want for more. So that sort of quest of like, where do things come from, and how do I find them, and how do I get access, and then obviously like, how do I get access to the things that are a little bit more exotic or a little bit more hard to reach. And you realise there's this hunting and gathering community of people who have access to produce that the everyday person just doesn't have access to.
So I've studied as a chef for 24 years, and it was always about getting on a phone and having something turn up the next day, and your connection to that product was minimal. And I really sort of went down the line of learning how to provide that for yourself, and having connection with whatever you're serving. And it's really nice to replicate that in a controlled environment.
So I've always been fascinated in local produce, whether it's working with local farmers, fishing or foraging. I'm from the UK, so I've been lucky enough to work in many interesting restaurants with their own gardeners and privy to some amazing product. And so yeah, I just think for me it gives you an exposure to what's growing in your backyard. You can work with the seasons, which is really, really cool. And the ingredients themselves, obviously they're a lot fresher because you've picked them from a stone's throw away of your kitchen or wherever you're cooking. And it's just a really cool thing to do.
Well, you can have it. So here on the property we've got nearly 9 acres. We grow a lot of produce ourselves. We're always trying to expand and grow more. We've got things like lily pillies, lemon myrtle. We're trying to keep with the natives, finger lime, persimmons as well, jackfruit we can collect. And then just outside of that, we've got such a great food bowl when it comes to Northern Rivers to Queensland sort of border. What we've got here is just second to none when it comes to world produce. We try to do as much as we can here at Valley Estate with working with local producers, suppliers and farmers. Part of that is we have that connection with them. They bring us products that we usually wouldn't get or find anywhere else, and it keeps with the seasonality. You understand the seasons, you can create things from the seasons, and it's interesting year to year to see the difference of how one season can be different to the next, whether it's starting 8 weeks early or you might get 2 seasons. It's an interesting concept that I think most people lose through buying from supermarkets and things like that. You can get a tomato any stage of the year now. It's just whether it's going to taste good because you're at the height of summer, or it's going to be chalky because you're buying it in winter. And having that connection with the farmers and the producers just really reins in everything you've got. If they haven't got it, they're not selling it. If they're not proud of it, it's not going to a table, it's not going to the restaurant, we're not serving it. And that's what I really appreciate about this area here, is we've just got such a good abundance of food that no matter what the season is, we've got that abundance.
Yeah, my first thoughts on in here, I was just like, wow, you know, we also own a couple of big venues, and they have like a strong function capability. I think that this is just really setting things apart. There's, you know, it's very beautiful. You know, there's 4 full-time gardeners. The space that outlooks the field is phenomenal. The facilities are fantastic. The kitchen looks fantastic. You know, the staff and everybody's really friendly. Aaron seems like he's a pig in shit in here. So yeah, I think a cracker venue.
So this is my first visit at Valley Estate. So I didn't really know what to expect. I've been to Currumbin a few times, like it's kind of down the road from where I live. But we rocked up the other night with a deer and a pig in the back of the car and had a little walk around, and it's pretty stunning. Like places like this are a bit of a chef's dream where you can walk around and pick stuff. I see there's a jackfruit tree out the front there. There's lots of things growing in and around the area. So I'm obviously very, very excited to cook here. So far, Mark and I went on a little hunt. So we were after red deer, and that didn't quite go to plan, but we were lucky enough to pick off a wild boar and a little samba, so that's definitely going to be amazing to showcase a little bit of venison and some pork. We fished yesterday, which probably wasn't the most successful visit to sea. So right now it is looking a bit sketchy, and we're probably a bit thin on the ground with ingredients, but I have no doubt, certainly with the skill set of myself and certainly the other chefs who actually do know what they're doing with regards to hunting and fishing, I have no doubt that we'll put on a pretty special dinner.
Yeah, I think that whole connection to the process and connection to the animal, you know, like particularly when I'm hunting, I've put a lot of hard yards in, I've been hiking, I've snuck in on an animal, they don't know that I'm there. There's a lot of things that need to go right to get to that point. You take its life, which is a pretty hectic experience just to sort of deal with, and I think that we all have it within us. But that process and that, you know, the work that goes into it, I think that creates a higher level of appreciation than picking up, you know, a couple of chicken breasts in a polystyrene container wrapped in cling film on the shelves. That work has made me really want to, you know, make sure that I look after this animal, treat it as best that I can throughout all those stages of like breaking down, you know, cutting up my meat, the preservation, and then like, you know, all of the cut utilisation.
We've had a we've been skunked a few times on getting boats lined up and just logistics in order to be able to hunt these areas effectively. So we've had a little bit of failure, but that's what comes with it. It's now getting to a pinch point. So the next 2 days are going to be fairly key. We're slowly wearing in on our preparation time, but the most important thing for us is to have actual connection with what we're serving. So feeling pretty confident over the next couple of days. We're just going to be able to target and sort of, I guess, you know, break into teams and target specific things a bit more than doing it as a group. And luckily we've got the ability to be able to do that.
It's not that often we get all of us together anymore to do an event like this, so it's really great. It's a real shame that Daz had to peel out early, and it's a real shame that I came late, so we kind of were sort of ships in the night. He was here at the start and had to tag out. I came in sort of more towards the end to get in the kitchen with the boys. It was really great to figure out what the guys had already gathered. I got here, the fish was done, the deer was ready to go, the boar was there, and it was really good to put a fresh lens across sort of the start conversations of the dishes, come in with a bit of fresh ideas and sort of sit down and really work it out with everyone. All of us as cooks are quite different but quite complementary really from all of the sort of venues that we come from, so it's really interesting to bring together all of these different skill sets with the same sort of common goal and end goal of just making delicious food.
So, deer skewer,
fish to add to it.
yeah, deer skewer David Plum combo. Yeah.
Do that like that can be made pretty meaty.
This is almost like two
So
full
putting
entree-sized dishes.
Yeah.
No, I'm just gonna go like mince. It'd be good if we could get some.
Alright, so it's game day. We're probably about 3 hours away from service and people arriving. About to light a fire and it has just rained. Probably going to rain again. Sort of showcases what we've gone through in the last week in trying to collect the produce and the whole process. It's been fun. It's definitely a challenge. We knew it would be. And I think now we're sort of relying on the connections we've made in the industry, and some of those have been fantastic. Like the people we've got around us, the support we've got from people is just incredible. It's really interesting how we have a whole bunch of ingredients and 5 competent chefs that know what's going on, but at the same time, we start with nothing. We still don't know what we're doing. And then things just piece together so comfortably. Everyone throwing in a bit here and a bit there, working as a team, and some of the dishes we've got coming out are just fantastic. We're tasting a few of them already, adding bits and pieces to it as we go, having a chat along the way, and yeah, we're really comfortable with what we're about to serve. The establishment here is second to none. It's the highest of high, and to have 5 guys come in and work with the produce we've got, we're confident and we're happy with that we're keeping up to that esteem of the establishment of the Valley Estate here. So yeah, we're going to do them proud, I think, and we're going to have a good time as well.